So we're going to look at another lesson on simplifying expressions. It's just a continuation of what we started last week. So this lesson is still the same types of things that you're doing. You're going to try and simplify it to where there's no more parentheses, no more like terms. We can only add or subtract like terms. And then we put the same shape around the like terms, and we can use those. So still the same steps, just a few things that we need to look at. So you're going to see something called a linear expression. So go ahead and get that down, and then we'll talk about it here in a second. So a linear expression, it is an algebraic expression where the variable has no exponents and you're not multiplying or dividing anything. So in other words, a linear expression, it does not have something like x squared or x to the fourth power, so it doesn't have that. And it does not have something like x times y or x over y, x divided by y. So those things are not present in linear expressions. So it's just x plus 4 or x plus 6 or 2x minus 3. Those are the things that you're going to see in a linear expression. So that's what we're going to be dealing with today. Okay, so all we're going to focus on today is adding these linear expressions. So when we add linear expressions, we do it the same way that we simplified expressions. So we can only combine, and whenever I say combine, I mean add or subtract. So we can only add or subtract like terms. Remember, like terms are terms that have the same variables to the same exponent. Okay, we're done simplifying when there are no more like terms or no more parentheses left in our expression. And then this one we'll talk about here in a second when we do our examples. If a linear expression is in parentheses, but there's no number outside of the parentheses, then we're going to pretend like we're multiplying or distributing a 1. And so that's just nothing's going to happen, because when you multiply by 1, nothing changes. But it is going to allow us to take those parentheses away. So that's why we say this. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into our examples. So our first one, 2x plus 3 plus parentheses x plus 4. So notice that these are both in parentheses, but there's no number outside of the parentheses. So when that happens, we can write a 1 outside of the parentheses. And go ahead and go through the steps of actually distributing. We would distribute a 1 to the 2x and a 1 to that 3. Well, 1 times anything, nothing's going to happen, right? So this is going to stay 2x plus 3. All we're doing is writing it without parentheses. So we can do the same thing to that x plus 4. Multiply a 1 by it, so we get plus 1 times x is just x, and then plus 1 times 4 is just 4. Now we have everything without parentheses. So we're going to circle and box in our like terms. So 2x is circled, which means we've also got to circle the plus x. Remember to circle the sign that goes in front of that term, and then we're going to put a box around the plus 3 and the plus 4, because those are like terms as well. So here on the left-hand side, we're going to put our circles, which is 2x and plus x. Separate it from the boxes, which are plus 3 and plus 4. And then we simplify. 2x plus x. Well, if it's just x, it's just 1x. So 2x plus 1x would get us 3x. And then positive 3 plus 4 would be positive 7. In other words, it would be 3x plus 7. 3x plus 7. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for our next example. Notice that 6x plus 2 and x plus 3 are in parentheses, but there's nothing outside of those parentheses. So we're going to multiply by 1 on everything, which means nothing changes except we can take away the parentheses. So 6x plus 2 plus x plus 3. Okay, we're going to circle and box in our like terms. So 6x is circled, which means the plus x has to be circled. And we're going to box in the plus 2 and the plus 3. So now we write our circles over here, which would be 6x and plus x. Our boxes on the other side, which would be plus 2 and plus 3. 6x plus 1x would get us 7x. And then positive 2 plus 3 would be positive 5. So 7x plus 5. 7x plus 5. So very similar to what we did last week. They're just really one step that we're taking first, which is getting rid of those parentheses. Okay, so these next two examples, I want you all to go ahead and pause the video and do those on your own. All right, so looking at these two examples, put a 1 in front. We'll distribute that 1 to both of these. So we're going to rewrite this without parentheses. So it would be 2x minus 1 plus 3x plus 5. All right, we're going to put our like terms in the same shape. So 2x and plus 3x. And then we'll box in the minus 1 and box in the plus 5 because those are like terms as well. We come over here, everything that's been circled, it was 2x plus 3x. And then whatever has been boxed in, which is minus 1 and plus 5. All right, so then we simplify. We've got our like terms. 2x plus 3x would be 5x. And then negative 1 plus positive 5 is positive 4. So it's going to be plus 4. So notice we don't do 1 plus 5 and then put a minus sign. We treat this as a negative 1 because that line kind of separates it. So this would be negative 1 plus 5, which would be positive 4. So 5x plus 4. Okay, then we do the same thing on the second question to start. We're going to 1 times 5, 1 times 3x, 1 times 7, and 1 times 2x. Notice the x terms are on the right of the parentheses, but nothing's going to change really. We still do the same steps. So this is going to be rewritten as 5 minus 3x plus 7 plus 2x. Okay, we circle, so it doesn't really matter. I could circle the 5 and I could circle the plus 7, which means I would need to put a box around the minus 3x and the plus 2x. So if I come over here, normally we put our x terms first, but I'm going to do it a little different. I'll put our circles first, which is 5 and plus 7. And then put our boxes next, which was minus 3x and plus 2x. 5 plus 7 gets us 12. And then treat this as a separate problem. Negative 3x plus 2x. Well, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So this is going to be 12 minus 1x, or we could write that as 12 minus x. You can write that either way. But the big thing is you don't want to do 3 plus 2 and then make it minus 5x, because that's technically not right. We do negative 3 plus 2, which is negative 1x. So 12 minus 1x, or 12 minus x. All right, so the other type of problem you might see here, notice that this doesn't have anything in front of the parentheses, but this has a 2 in front. So go back to when we talked about the distributive property. The distributive property says we need to multiply whatever's on the outside of the parentheses by everything on the inside. So we were doing that with the 1. There's nothing in front. We're going to distribute a 1. So 1 times 12x and 1 times 19. So this would still be 12x minus 19. But before we can write everything else, we also need to distribute a 2. So we're going to do 2 times negative x and 2 times 10. So 2 times negative x would be plus negative 2x. And then plus 2 times 10 would be 20. Now we can go ahead and put everything in the same shape. So we've got 12x we can circle. And we're going to circle the plus negative 2x. And then we're going to put a box around the minus 19 and the plus 20. All right, so everything that's been circled, 12x plus negative 2x. and then what's been put in a box, which is minus 19 plus 20. Then we simplify both sides separate, combine them at the very end. 12 plus negative 2 would be 10x, and then negative 19 plus 20 would be positive 1. So we're going to get 10x plus 1. So really it's still the same thing, still the same steps. The only thing that we have to change is before we start simplifying, we've got to distribute the number that's in front. If there's nothing in front of the parentheses, we're distributing a 1. If there is a number in front of the parentheses, like this one with 3 and 2, we would distribute those two numbers. So we're going to do that. 3 times 3 and 3 times x. We'll also do 2 times 4x and 2 times 7. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 3 times x is 3x. 2 times 4x would be plus 8x. And then minus, because there's a minus sign right there, 2 times 7 is 14. All right, once we've got it written without parentheses, we're going to circle and box in our like terms. So we'll box in the plus 3x and the plus 8x, circle the 9 and the minus 14. Come over here, everything we've circled, 9 minus 14, and then everything we've boxed, which would be plus 3x and plus 8x. Well, 9 minus 14, we have 9 take away 14, that's going to get us negative 5. And then 3 plus 8 would be plus 11x. So negative 5 plus 11x, that would be our answer. All right, so one last question we're going to look at with simplifying expressions this way. It's a word problem here. It says a rectangle has side lengths of x plus 4 feet and 2x minus 2 feet. We're going to write a linear expression in simplest form. That's important. Make sure that you write that in simplest form to represent the perimeter. And then we'll do this here in a second. Okay, so first of all, what I would do is draw a rectangle, because this is going to help you visualize what we're actually going to do. So a rectangle has side lengths. One side is x plus 4, and one side is 2x minus 2. Well, what do you know about a rectangle? If you're trying to find the perimeter means you add up all the sides. And so if this side is x plus 4, that means the opposite side must also be x plus 4. And then if this side is 2x minus 2, that means its opposite side must be the same thing. So now, if I have this rectangle, to find the perimeter, I would add up all of these sides. So I'm going to do x plus 4 plus 2x minus 2 plus x plus 4 plus 2x minus 2. It's twice as long, but we would still do the same thing to simplify, because it says to write our answer in simplest form. I'm going to circle all my x terms, and make sure you circle the sign that goes in front of them. And then I will put a box around all of my constants. So plus 4 minus 2, plus 4, and minus 2. All right, so now I'm going to go and write what I've circled, which is x plus 2x plus x plus 2x. And then I'm going to write down everything that's in a box, which is plus 4, minus 2, plus 4, and minus 2. And then finally, I would add both sides together to simplify. 1 plus 2x would be 3x, plus 1x is 4x, so another 2x would be 6x. And then 4 minus 2 is 2, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 6 minus 2 would be positive 4. So 6x plus 4, that is our expression in simplest form. And then the last thing it says to do is find the perimeter if the value of x is 7 feet. Well, we would just plug 7 in for x. So we would do 6 times 7, which is 42. And then 42 plus 4 would give us 46 feet. So write that expression in simplest form. It's really the same thing that we have been doing. It's just a little bit longer. And then we would finish by simplifying and plugging in for x. Okay, so that's the second version of simplifying expressions. You've got some problems to be working on right now.